Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, May the 30th. Today I'm in the high mountains near Firenze. Just a spectacular area. Gorgeous houses, cool wind. And what I'm doing today is I'm actually refilling it's called a serbatoia, which is the water tank. I found a fresh high mountain water I guess well or little stream that's coming out of the side of the hill, and I'm using my Katadyn Expedition filter to put water back into the 122 liter tank. It's hard to know how many centuries ago this was built, but still, for the sake of safety, this is the Katadyn Expedition. It's designed for anywhere between 4 to 10 people. It produces about 4 liters a minute, which is just over a gallon a minute. And so right now my tank is back up at just over halfway, just about halfway. So right now I've got about 60 liters of water, which is more than sufficient. If I felt that I wasn't going to be able to access more in the near future, I would certainly put more in. But what a great way to be able to get natural water back into your overlanding vehicle. So I drove a couple hundred meters ahead of me, came around a corner, realized that I was in a tiny little mountain town called Trebbio, which apparently has a very old castle on it. I would say more like a lookout tower over the valley. But just behind me, around that corner, is where the fresh spring was that I used to be able to fill up my water tank. So I'm going to try and capture a shot of that lookout tower castle and show you where we're parked and the beautiful panorama we've got for this evening. Good morning. Today is Thursday, June 1st, 2023. So I just wanted to show you my remote smart working location, my office this morning. It was a pretty cool story yesterday when I had stopped at that little spring along the side of a mountain to get some water. I crested the hill, saw a little castle, Trebbio, and there's a little parking sign. Pulled over just to take a look because the panoramic view was incredible. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon. Wanted to have some lunch, and I do smart working with my clients back in the United States from about 3 in the afternoon until midnight, which is 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern in the US. And I thought, okay, this will just be a great place to stop and work for the afternoon. So I'm finishing up my meal. A couple comes over and they start talking to me, asking me questions about the car, but they weren't really interested in the car. And I was like, what do they want? You know, like, who are they? And they're like, okay, yeah, he's cool. I'm like, what do you mean? And they said, you're on our land. And I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I mean, there's a little, obviously I'm camping here, but there's a sign for camping. And they said, no, do you see the hills that go all the way over there? And the hills that go all the way, like the whole thing is there are 70 hectares of land plus the castle. and super nice people, really smart, really intelligent, just great people. And they're like, "Hey, do you want a tour?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I got photos and some videos of the exterior of it's like a castle tower lookout center, because you can see the entire valley floor. She didn't have her key with her at the time, because they have houses everywhere and reside lower down the base of the mountain. And this castle, though, is actually built by the Medici, the bankers, back in the late 13th and early 14th century. So it was just, I don't know, it was quite the experience to meet the owners of a castle. And then this is for bocce, outdoor dancing, picnics.
The previous owner
Had a pool. Former owner used to play cricket there. Of course he did. And then I also said, "Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I just stopped to get some water from my vehicle and stopped to take a look." And she's like, "That's our water too. So you used our well." I'm like, "No, it's a spring." It's like, free water coming up out of the ground. So I'm headed north. I'm in northern Italy, just south of Milano. And I'm on my way to see my wife's aunt and uncle. They live right up against the Swiss border. And one of the great things about having a vehicle like this and being able to overland and be autonomous and self-sufficient with power and water and showers and bathrooms and refrigerators and freezers and kitchens and clothing and just everything you need, is I pulled off the main A1 highway, looped around, and there's a road that's up on this embankment that follows a river. And I just want to turn the camera around and show you where I'm parked. It's quite beautiful and peaceful, quiet, and I'm not that far off the highway. You just normally wouldn't even think to be in an area like this, perhaps. So judge for yourself. And there's a 360 of where I'm camped for the evening. Sounds of the birds are just fantastic. And if I were to crawl up and over that embankment and down the other side, there's a river that snakes all along here. Rustling leaves. It's just such a beautiful sound. In the distance, those are for high-speed trains that pass by every once in a while. It's actually quite far away with the zoom. When I woke up this morning, I set up my Julka shower. And I was able to have a nice steamy hot shower. I'll tell you, this system is pretty cool. Or hot, as the case may be. Plus, in this little dry zone, you can hang your towel so it stays dry. All the water leaves around the corners in all directions. And one of the nice things I really dig Ortlieb, I think they make some incredible products with this Metrosphere. But you just close up your clothing, and then you can just take your whole bag and throw it into the shower, and you don't really have to worry about anything. And you know, if this gets a little wet or soapy water on it, I've already wiped it down, no big deal. But that way you're not worried about, you know, your clothes getting wet, or you forgot to take fresh socks or underwear, or the shirt you wanted to use, or the pants you'd like, or whatever the case may be. You just have all of your clothes in there with you. And then when you're done showering, you've got a nice little station to change your clothes. It worked out really well. Not a bad location to have chosen to just pull over and find a great place to camp. Awesome. Moving onward toward Germany. Woohoo! Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday, June the 5th, and I am somewhere outside of Zurich by maybe 20 minutes, and headed north, as you may recall, to see the Abenteuer Allrad 2023 Overland Expo in Bad Kissingen, Germany. Thus far, I have been on the road 10 days, taking absolutely as many off-road paths as I could find throughout Europe. It has been breathtaking, to say the least. So very excited to see Germany tomorrow. And of course, to bring you with us. I hope you're enjoying the sights and the sounds of the birds and the rustling of the wind through the wheat and the trees. Man, some people when they're done overlanding say, well, let's get back to civilization. To me, this is civilized. Spectacular panoramas like this. Thoughts to yourself.
Still connected to high-speed streaming internet if you want to stay in touch with the world. Completely self-reliant. I haven't even gone food shopping yet. 10 days in. Can you hear the plane? Just softly buzzing by. God, I love that sound. Please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help support the channel, and also gives you notifications as we send out more content, which we will be very shortly as we enter this fantastic Overland Expo event. Arguably the largest, if not second to largest, in Europe. Although I can't think of a bigger one off the top of my head, but it should be good. I'm glad you're coming with us. Good evening. I am just outside of Stuttgart, Germany, and I pulled off the highway. When I had passed by, I saw these huge, expansive fields and just said, that's the place to stop. So take a look at this sunset, because Germany's gorgeous.